Welcome to the Selling a Screenplay podcast. This is just a quick update about my Kickstarter campaign. Just to do a quick recap, I'm trying to raise $12,000 for a crime action thriller feature screenplay called The Pinch. I already have $15,000 raised, so the total budget will be around $27,000 if I can hit this $12,000 goal on Kickstarter. The screenplay is available for download on the Kickstarter page too if anyone wants to read it. So far on Kickstarter, I'm right around the $5,000 mark, which is pretty much where I was last week. So there's still a lot of work to be done to get to that $12,000 mark. The way Kickstarter works is if you don't hit your funding goal, you don't get to keep any of the money. So I've got to continue to push hard and hopefully hit my goal. I knew that there would be a lull. In my reading and getting ready for this Kickstarter campaign, just sort of reading tips and tricks and how to run a Kickstarter campaign. Everyone always was saying the middle weeks, there's definitely a lull. That first week is strong and hopefully the last week is strong. So there'll definitely be a lull in the middle. And I'm definitely seeing that with this. I offered the drawing for an email and fax blast at the end of the first week, and that seemed to really spur a lot of people to contribute. I'm honestly not sure if it was the prospect of getting that free email or fax blast that spurred people to contribute, or if it was just, people were interested and contributed and finally they went and contributed. Because last week there were still some contributions, but not nearly as many as the first week. So I'm thinking right now, and after this week, I think it will test this theory. I'm thinking right now that the rewards are really, really important. So I'm going to be announcing a whole slew of new rewards. It's literally every single idea for a reward that I could come up with. So stay tuned for that. As I said, there were still lots of people who contributed last week, and I just want to take a moment to thank all of them. Thank you, Ingrid Elkner, Jackie Linton, Ryan Nielsen, Ryan Panak, Jacqueline Stanton, Louis Sheffield, Sylvia Marie Llewellyn, Jean Oswald, Runningham, Peter Ross, William Pence, Norwood Holland, Lucy, Denise Olson, Brandon Beck, Ryan Canty, Parman, Gary Neans, Nigel Grant, Bradley Palmer, and a big thanks to Byron Kent, Bernie Rayo, and Adam Fletterman. They all increased their pledges. They had previously pledged, and then they went and increased their pledge. So a big thanks to all of those folks. I really, really, really do appreciate it. It is nice. A lot of familiar names in there, people that I do correspond with through email, and people who do listen to podcasts. Last week, too, I promised to give away some classes. I'm going to be talking more about these rewards. I'm going to continue to give away more classes, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to make an announcement to the end of this update about that. One question that I've received a few times, and I thought I would just take a minute to answer the question now. It's really just my thoughts. There's not necessarily a good answer. But anyways, the question that I have been receiving is, why did I go with Kickstarter instead of Indiegogo? And in case you don't know, the main difference between the two platforms is that Kickstarter is an all or nothing platform, meaning you set a goal, and if you don't hit that goal, you don't get to keep any of the money. Indiegogo, you do get to keep any money that you raised. So that's the main difference, and there's a couple of reasons why I went with Kickstarter. I mentioned this before, but I have heard that Kickstarter is the biggest crowdfunding platform, so I was hoping that I could get on there and potentially pick up some people that were already on the platform, some new people that don't necessarily know me but might think my project was cool and donate money to it. I don't think I've really found that to be the case, but that was part of my thinking. The other thing is, when you are setting out on a project, like I think Kickstarter has a smart idea in setting a minimum goal. I mean, I think as any kind of a project, whether it's an art project like a film or a physical product, any project sort of has a minimal amount that you need to create that project at a professional level. And that's kind of what was my thinking. Was I basically, as I said, I have $15,000 already committed to this project, and so I felt like $12,000, and I sort of basically backed into the fact that I knew Kickstarter was going to take a percentage, so I went a little bit over that. But I basically figured I could make this move for around $25,000 sort of as a minimal budget. So part of my thinking with going with Kickstarter was that, hey, if I don't hit that goal, and I think, again, this is kind of an important point. If I don't hit the goal, then maybe I don't want to make the project because maybe I can't make the project at what I consider to be a professional level. And I especially think that's important for like physical products. Like there's certain physical products, there's hard costs to producing these physical products. So if you don't get, let's just say 1,000 orders, then you can't produce that product. So you don't want to get halfway there, collect a bunch of money, and then not be able to fulfill that product. So I kind of felt like that way when I was going into this. I kind of felt that way about this project as well, that $25,000 was kind of my minimum. And so, setting a $12,000 goal on Kickstarter would kind of get me to that minimum. And maybe if I don't hit that goal, maybe I don't want to make this movie, on a lesser level. Now, it's obviously my thinking is kind of changing as going along. The other big thing, and this is, I think, this is the other big point about the all or nothing goal. I do feel like there is a real pressure to continue to push yourself to hit that goal. And I mean, at this point, I'm more than halfway through my Kickstarter campaign. It ends in less than 2 weeks now as I record this, and I'm not halfway to my funding mark. So I'm definitely falling behind, but that keeps me motivated and keeps me doing these updates and sending out emails and thinking of new rewards and contacting people and tweeting it and putting it on Facebook. So it keeps me working and keeps me getting the campaign out there. If you're on Indiegogo and you're basically like, well, I get to keep the $5,000, maybe I can make this movie on a $20,000 budget. I do think that there's kind of a sense of urgency with the Kickstarter campaign that would not be there for the Indiegogo, and I think that's valuable. I also think it also helps. I mean, I think this sense of urgency is good for the project creator, and I also think it's good for the people who contribute. Again, there becomes a sense of urgency for the people to contribute. Hey, let's just hit this goal, and knowing that you're not going to get to keep any of the money unless you hit that goal, hopefully will spur more people to contribute. So, there's upsides and downsides to each one. Again, I want to emphasize, I mean, I could be totally wrong in my thinking about this. That was just sort of my thinking going into this. Again, this whole Kickstarter thing is kind of an experiment. I've never done one, so I'm kind of learning as I go along. I mean, I talk about this a lot on the podcast. I do feel like just getting out there and making things happen is a great way to, advance your career, just learn in general and just live your life. So that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm just getting out there. I'm doing stuff. And maybe this won't pan out. Maybe I'll be thinking I should have gone with Indiegogo. Certainly if I get to like 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 and don't quite hit that 12,000 goal, certainly then I will be kicking myself and saying, gee, I should have just gone with the Indiegogo. Maybe I could have made it for a little bit less. But I don't know. So again, this is a kind of an experiment, and that's my thinking. I could be wrong, and I may change my thinking as time goes on. I am going to do a big update. I'll probably wait like 2 weeks or maybe a month after the Kickstarter campaign ends. Just let it settle and see how it all goes, whether it flops or succeeds. I'll let it settle, and I will do an update. I'm going to do one more update next week. As I said, we have less than 2 weeks, so I'll do an update next week on Wednesday or Thursday, and then that will be, the final push into the final closing. It ends February 16th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So just throw that out there. So if you are considering contributing, please go ahead and do that now. That time is right around the corner. We're only a little more than a week away from ending the campaign. Anyways, as I was saying, I will do a update probably 2 weeks or a month after the Kickstarter campaign ends, and I will kind of give a more fleshed out version of sort of my thoughts and how it all went, and maybe the mistakes I made and what I could have done better. Not so much right now. It's hard to say because I'm still so much sort of in the thick of things of just kind of scrambling to raise money. So let's get into the new rewards that I'm going to be offering. Hopefully this will be exciting to you. I was spitballing ideas with my producing partner, Adam Strange. So some of these ideas are his, some of them are mine. We came up with a whole bunch of new ideas for rewards. One of the things that occurred to me as we were bouncing ideas back and forth is that there's probably a lot of people out there who are listening to this, who listen to my podcast, who are listening to this update, who also have some great ideas for rewards. So if you have an idea for a reward that's not covered here, please do email me. You can send me an email at info@sellingyourscreenplay.com. Please just be real specific. Tell me exactly what you would want with the reward, and then tell me exactly how much money you'd be willing to pay for it. That's just going to speed up the process. If you say, I want this and I'm going to pay this much for it, I can just say, great, I'll do it. I can put it up on the Kickstarter campaign page, and you can go ahead and claim that reward. So the more specific you are, the better off we'll be. If there's a lot of email backing and forth, then the time may be running out. By the time you email me, and by the time I get this, and by the time we get back to you, things may be. So please just email me. Anything will be, any idea will be entertained. I really want to emphasize that. So, no idea will be dismissed out of hand. So please, if you have some ideas for rewards, like as a screenwriter, I mean, you basically know what services I have, what potential items I could offer as a reward. Think about something. Gee, I sure wish he would offer this as a reward. Email it to me. Tell me how much you'd be willing to pay for that. And if I can do it, as I said, I'll definitely throw it up there. And it might be something other people are interested in too. So no idea will be dismissed out of hand. I really want to emphasize that. So all of these rewards come with a digital download of the movie. So please do keep that in mind. And any of the rewards that are $100 or more will also get a DVD. So keep that in mind as well. You're not just going to get these perks that I mentioned. You're also going to get the digital download and potentially a DVD if the reward contribution is high enough. So I'm not going to just keep saying, plus you get the digital download, plus you get the digital download. Each one of these rewards is going to get the digital download. So keep that in mind. So the first reward that I thought of is a t-shirt. Hopefully you've seen that cool image that I created. And actually my producing partner actually created that, Adam Strange. He is also an artist. So a big thanks to him for creating that. But he created that really cool image. That's sort of the poster image that we have right now. And when you go to the Kickstarter page, that's the image that loads up on the video. Before the video plays, you'll see this cool image that he created. So I'm going to put that on a t-shirt, and that's going to be anybody who contributes at this level. Again, you're going to get the digital download, and then plus you're going to get the t-shirt. I'm offering that at $50. That was one big note that I got from last week's new rewards. The only new real reward was about $500, and people were like, gee, I'd love to contribute, but it's just a little out of my price range. So I tried to come up with some rewards that would be a little bit more inexpensive. And again, this is going to be $50. There is some hard costs, and I'm going to be curious to see how this t-shirt pans out, because there is some obvious hard costs by the time I ship it to the person and ship the t-shirt to the person and have the t-shirt created. I'll probably be spending like close to $20. That's the main reason why I've hesitated on doing the t-shirt. But at this point, I'm just throwing everything in the kitchen sink and we're just going to see what people respond to. So if you want a cool t-shirt with the Pinch image on it, check out the Kickstarter campaign page. Once I've finished production on the Pinch, so this is a new reward. Once I've finished production on the Pinch, I'm going to put together a class on micro-budget filmmaking where I will go through this entire process from, writing the script to getting ready for the Kickstarter campaign to doing the Kickstarter campaign and then into production. Every little detail, tips and tricks about doing the Kickstarter campaign, things I learned about the Kickstarter campaign, things that I did during production, how I found cast and crew who would work for cheap, basically how I produced a feature film for $25,000. I'm going to go through the whole process, all the nuts and bolts down to what camera I used, the lighting package that I used, how I edited, how I did post-production, how I ended up, hopefully finding a distributor, and eventually how much money I made from selling this movie. I will go through everything during this course. This will be a course that I probably teach and probably offer through SYS Select. I usually have these, I usually offer these classes for, $30 or $40. So I'm offering this class. Again, you'll get the digital download, but I'm also going to give you this online class, which you'll get to participate in. Anyone can participate. It'll be taught online. It'll be a live class, but it'll be taught online. I will, of course, record the class. So if you end up not being able to make the live class, you can definitely get the replay, the recorded replay of the class. So don't worry about any kind of scheduling conflict. And I'm offering that at just $30. So again, if you're thinking about doing a low budget, micro budget film, I think this would be a great thing to have. Obviously, it's going to be a while before I'm able to fulfill this order. Probably it'll be about a year from now. But I think this would be a great reward for anybody who's considering a micro budget film. Again, just $30. If this sounds interesting to you, go check out the Pinch Kickstarter page. Okay, so this next reward, and we're really starting to think outside the box here, just come up with a lot of cool ideas. This was an idea that Adam had, and I thought it was really cool, and I thought it could be something that would really be helpful to somebody out there. So This reward is basically, if you are planning a Kickstarter campaign, I will have you on the podcast and I will talk to you and basically interview you, and we will talk about your project, and then hopefully that can help you raise money for your own Kickstarter campaign. If people hear you on my podcast and they think you have a cool story, they think you have a cool movie that they might want to see, some of those people will hopefully contribute to this. I'm offering this reward at $100. It's hard to imagine that you wouldn't be able to make that pay just in terms of your return on investment for only $100 coming on the Kickstarter campaign. My podcast is certainly widely heard by enough people that you should certainly be able to make up more than $100 worth of the $100 you spend, more than $100 in contributions. And again, I'm not going to put any time constraints on this, so you can come on the podcast at any time. Basically between when my Kickstarter campaign funds, between any time after that and in the future. So you can just stock this. If you're planning on doing something next year, that's fine. Next month, next week, whatever it is, we'll have you on my podcast and you can promote your Kickstarter campaign. So the next reward I'm going to offer, I'm calling a 5-page challenge. If you listen to the Script Notes podcast, they actually do something quite often called a 3-page challenge. So I'm going to do a 5-page challenge. Here's how this is going to work. Basically, you're going to contribute $100 to the Kickstarter campaign. You will send me the first 5 pages of your screenplay, and then I will critique those pages on an upcoming episode of the podcast. One aside that occurred to me, it seems to me that there might be some people who want me to critique the first 5 pages of their screenplay and would be willing to contribute $100, but don't necessarily want it done publicly. That's totally fine. If you don't want it done publicly, then you can just tell me when you send me your pages, hey, please don't do this on the podcast. Just give me the notes individually, and I'm happy to do that. I thought it would be cool. I think a lot of people hopefully will think it's cool as well, just to do a 5-page challenge, and I'll critique them on the podcast and everybody can hear it. But again, if you don't want them critiqued on the podcast, no problem. Just tell me that. I really think this is a win-win-win. I think it's a win for me. I get some more money for the Kickstarter campaign that I'm running. I think it's a potential win for the screenwriter who sends in their 5 pages. You're going to get a critique of those pages, and you're also going to get potentially a little publicity on those pages. And then the other thing is when I listen to the Script Notes podcast, I actually think that's probably the most valuable thing that they do in terms of like real teaching of screenwriting. I think it's actually the most valuable thing that the Script Notes folks do. So I think it's a win for the audience too. I think this will be an interesting thing for the audience to hear, me critiquing those 5 pages. You can learn a lot just by hearing what other people are saying about other people's scripts. So hopefully it's a win-win-win. Again, if you are interested in that, check out my Kickstarter page, and that's going to be called the 5-page challenge. So now these next rewards are basically going to be a bunch of my, they're going to be a bunch of the SYS services that I offer through selling your screenplay at drastically reduced prices. So here goes. The first thing I'm going to offer is a screenplay analysis for just $79, and that's normally $89. So you're going to save $10, plus you're going to be getting the digital download of the film when it's finished. So it's hopefully an additional win. So you're saving a little bit of money. You're going to get a script analysis, and it's exactly the same script analysis service that someone would buy through sellingyourscreenplay.com, and I sell that for $89. So there's a $10 discount if you buy it through my Kickstarter campaign, and again, you'll get that digital download. So hopefully that's something that will interest a lot of people. The next thing I'm going to offer is an agent and a producer blast. And again, I talk about these a lot on the podcast. I have a big list of agents and a big list agents and managers, and then I also have a big list of producers. I sell these through SYS Select. The agent blast is $109. The producer's blast is $159. And so the combined value of those two is $268. I'm going to sell those 2 blasts for just $200. So that's a savings of $68, which is a huge percentage. It's not a third, but it's probably more than 25% off of that, 30% savings. So it's a huge savings. I really never discount my products. So that's the absolute cheapest you're ever going to get that blast service is $200. Again, if you're interested in that, check out the Kickstarter campaign page. But wait, there's more. I'm also going to do one agent blast and one producer blast, plus a script analysis. So that's an $89 value script analysis. And I'm going to offer all that. So again, that's the $268 plus $89. So that's like $257 or $357 worth of SYS services. It's an agent manager's blast. It's a producer's blast, and it's email and fax blast. And it's also a $89 script analysis. And I'm going to offer that for just $250. So again, it's over $100 of savings on a $250 product. So it's a huge discount. And again, I just want to emphasize the fact that you are still also, not only are you getting these great products at a discount amount, still getting the digital download of the movie. But wait, there's more. And actually, in the case of the $200 and up, you're actually going to get a DVD as well. But wait, there's more. So last week I rolled out this screenwriting marketing package, and that was basically a year of SYS Select, which is $199, and you get all the SYS Select services, which is the paid screenwriting leads. You'll get those for a year. You'll get access to all the online classes that I've ever taught. Those are listed in the SYS Select forum. There's more than 10 classes. I think there's 12 classes in there. You'll be able to pitch your script in our monthly newsletter for the full year, so that has value. And that's normally priced at $199. And I'm also going to give out, as part of the screenwriting marketing package, I'm going to give out 3 email and fax blasts to the producers. So again, those are $159 each. So that total is $477. So it's $676 worth of SYS Select services. And I'm going to offer that for just $500. And I'm going to actually throw in, I didn't get any takers on that last week, so I'm thinking I need to make it even more of an incentive. I'm going to throw in a script analysis. So again, that's an $89 script analysis through Selling Your Screenplay. So that's $765 worth of Selling Your Screenplay services for just $500. That is absolutely the cheapest you're ever going to get those services. Obviously, $500 is a chunk of money, but this is really a package that I would highly encourage anybody that has a couple of scripts and wants to really market them. Again, you're going to get the leads for a full year, the paid leads for a full year, and you're going to get 3 blasts. So that's one blast, and you can use the blast however you want. You can use the same script 3 times, or you can blast, several scripts over the course of a few months. And that's really what you should be doing as a screenwriter. And that's about what I do. I do 3 or 4 blasts for myself per year. And so that's a good number. You want to keep writing new material, but if you've got some old material, we can send that out. But you want to get that material out. The other thing that comes with the SYS Select services, I will help you with your logline inquiry letter. Inside the forum, you will post your logline inquiry letter, and I will help you polish those up as well. So again, that's the screenwriting marketing package. If it sounds interesting, please do check out the Kickstarter page. So I just want to mention the story consultant credit. I mentioned that a couple of times. You can get that. That is, I'm offering that at the $300 level. So if you contribute that, you will get a story consultant credit on this movie. That credit will appear obviously the film's credits, but it will also appear on the IMDb page. So if you're a writer just looking to get a credit, this is something that can actually be used on your resume. You can use it in your query letter, and basically it's going to work, like a real story consultant credit. You're going to read the script. You're going to give me notes, and then I'm going to do another pass on this draft. And, if I think your notes are helpful, then I will take those notes and implement in the script. So you'll be doing some consulting on this script, and you'll get that credit. And I think that's something that you could really use if you don't have any credits, or you want some more credits. I think it's a great way to just kind of get on the board and get an IMDb, an actual writing credit on a movie that's going to be produced. That will have real value, and it really, really will separate you from the men from the boys. So, and I like to just keep doing a special bonus, basically between now and midnight on Sunday, just for a few days, just to keep some sort of, just keep some interest hopefully going between now and the weekend. Over the weekend is anyone who contributes $20 or more between now and Sunday at midnight, I'm going to let you put a log line in my monthly newsletter to producers. Again, I talk about this often on the podcast. I have a monthly newsletter that SYS Select members can post a log line in. And then that newsletter gets sent out to producers. The way I've built that list of producers, though, those are producers that have expressed interest in getting this newsletter. It's not a cold email. Basically, I emailed everybody, all the producers on my list, said, hey, I've got this monthly newsletter. Are you interested in getting pitched every month? And the newsletter said, yeah, the producer said, yes, I am. I'd like to get this newsletter. So that's what I've done is I've basically got it's over 200 producers. I think it might be 210 or 220 producers in that list. They will get this monthly newsletter. And if you contribute $20 or more between now and midnight on Sunday, you will be able to put your log line in the next newsletter. Quick other bonuses that I'm going to be giving out. Last week I gave 2 classes. It was online class number 1, choosing a marketable concept, how to avoid the single biggest mistake made by new screenwriters, and online class number 2, before you begin to write your screenplay. Those 2 classes were given out last week. So this week I'm going to give away additional classes. I'm going to keep it at the $20 contribution level, just like the posting your log line in the monthly newsletter. I'm now going to give out all 4 of these classes. So if you contribute between now and midnight on Sunday, if you contribute $20 or more, you're going to get whatever bonus whatever reward you sign up for. You'll get that reward, plus you'll get the ability to put a log line in the upcoming newsletter, and you will get these 4 online classes. You'll get the 2 classes from last week that I just mentioned, and you will also get online class number 7, how to make the opening pages of your screenplay awesome, and online class number 8, how to write a killer first act for your screenplay. So those are 4 online classes that I've taught. I've recorded them, and then you will get access to these recording, and I'm very available as well. So if you look through one of the classes and have a bunch of questions, I'm happy to answer your questions about anything that's in those classes. Whew. So that's pretty much every single idea I could come up with. That's pretty much everything in the kitchen sink. I have no more ideas for rewards at this point. So once again, if you have some specific ideas for a reward, please, please, please email those to me. My email is info@sellingyouscreenplay.com. Email me. Please be really specific. Tell me exactly what you want that reward to be and exactly how much you'd be willing to pay. And if I can do it, I will throw that reward up on Kickstarter, and then hopefully some other people will take advantage of that reward as well. So don't be shy. Any ideas? You never know. If you send me an idea that I can't do, it might spur some idea on my end, and I might be able to say, well, I can't do that, but I can do that. So just email me your ideas. I'm open to just about anything. Let's see here. Oh, and on Monday night, I just want to mention on Monday, I do have my regularly scheduled podcast coming out. It's an interview with 2 filmmakers who shot a film called Tangerine. The movie ended up going to Sundance, and they shot it using an iPhone. So we talk about that movie, how they made it, how they wrote the script. It's an interesting, fascinating look. Again, a pretty low budget, micro budget film, but it ended up going to Sundance. So that's about sort of the top of the key for these micro budget films. So keep an eye out for that episode on Monday. Thanks again to everyone who has contributed. I really, really do appreciate it. It's so nice. I mean, I see those emails when they come through from Kickstarter. Hey, another contributor. It is really exciting to get those, and I really do appreciate everybody who's contributed to it. Hopefully, I'm going to make my goal, and I'm just pushing as hard as I can right now. I do apologize too if you're getting sick of hearing me talk about this and getting my emails. Now we're down to the last 10 days. So once that's over, I promise that'll be the last I mentioned my Kickstarter campaign. So thanks again to those who have contributed. If you are thinking about contributing, we're getting down to the final week. As I said, as I record this now, there's only about 10 or 12 days, 10, 11 days left, I think, until the campaign ends. It ends February 16th at 5 p.m. That's a Tuesday Pacific time. So please, if you've been putting off contributing, please, now is the time to go and contribute. Don't wait to the last minute. You might forget or just not get around to it. So if you're thinking about contributing, please, please, please do it. And there's, as I said, a ton of great rewards out there. Hopefully there's a reward for everyone. So thanks again, and thanks for listening to this update. I really do appreciate that as well.